Hey guys, before we start the video, I just want to let you guys know that no, we did not finish the 24-hour stream, and no, we did not make our goal. There was an emergency that I had to take care of, and a lot of things got worse. I will post a card here if you want to watch that video, and it's pretty much me being sad and all that other stuff. But the TLDR is that we didn't make it. My brother is out of the hospital, but it looks like he's probably going to go back in if we don't make this first hit on his medicine. And the insurance for his health did not cover it all, which is the reason why I did the 24-hour stream in the first place and being able to move over there. I am still going to be moving over there. By the time you see this video, I am already there, and in the consequence of that, there will be no more streams for a long while, but I will still try to post videos. I left a pool down there, a PayPal pool, and the goal is still the same. It's still 200. I put 250 in there just in case. I'm not really too sure, but you never know. So if you guys are kind enough, or anybody you know who's kind enough, share that link or contribute $1, $5, 20, 10, it doesn't even matter. But if you think about it, $20, $10 bills makes 200, and we're done. But thank you for everybody who made it to that stream, and we can move on and go to the video at hand. Thank you for watching, and thank you for understanding. I will see you guys now. So you saw what I saw, right? Okay, if you guys don't know who or what that is, that creature right there is called Absolute Virtue. Well, he was called Absolute Virtue in Final Fantasy XI, and let me just tell you, I am freaking out a little bit because that thing just brings back horrible memories. Final Fantasy XI was a game that pretty much anyone who played it had a very slow time. It was slow getting up to where you are, and people in the expansions had certain things like, I don't know, when enemies have to be a little too strong, or certain locations and quests are a little bit inaccessible, and then there was the grind time just to get to certain locations. There's a lot of memories of Final Fantasy XI, but there were also good memories of Final Fantasy XI. Good and bad. This one is the bad. This is the bad one. So Absolute Virtue is basically, well, kind of the longest, grindiest raid I've ever done in my life. This thing took literally 12 hours. Here, let me just refer back to a past video here.
This thing is possibly one of the biggest mistakes I have ever made in my life. This is Absolute Virtue, one of the most infamous bosses I have ever fought against in Final Fantasy XI. Why, you may ask? Because this thing was absolutely the longest boss fight I have ever fought against. Do you want to know how long it took to kill this thing? 12 hours! This thing isn't really scary to look at, but it took 12 hours to kill. And for what?
12 hours? Yeah, it took a while to beat Absolute Virtue, and now they brought it here. It makes sense, though. 14 has a lot of 11 stuff, so you can see and actually check the monsters that you'll see around the world. A lot of them are new, but a lot of them come from Final Fantasy XI. Now, I can understand why Absolute Virtue is in the game, but hopefully when they do put them in, there's not going to be some sort of trial or raid to it. It's just going to be Absolute Virtue, maybe in a dungeon for what it looks like. But if it is going to be a raid boss, which I don't think it is, and it seriously looks like it's just going to be, maybe it's a raid, not a raid boss, but just a regular dungeon. Well, actually, I do see a lot of people there, so there are 8 people in there. So it has to be a raid boss. Let's just, okay, and it can't be a trial, it might be a trial, I have no idea. But thing is that Absolute Virtue is just in the game, and this is bringing back very horrible memories. Memories of me going into the new expansion, memories of me playing with my team, with my, not my free company, they weren't called free company, but Link Shell party. Yeah, it wasn't a pleasant time. We literally had to grind this monster out over 12 hours, and what we got with it was, it was pretty good equipment at the time until it got overwritten by the next expansion. There are quite a few expansions in Final Fantasy XI, and let me just tell you, when they decided it was a good idea to actually nerf Absolute Virtue, it was a little too late. Everybody has already grinded the ever-living mess out of that monster and never went back. There were a lot of things, there were a lot of reasons why they couldn't beat Absolute Virtue, and I'm going to see if I can pick up the page for that right now. Maybe somewhat of it can be explained. Okay, so I brought up an article that says Final Fantasy XI boss causes vomiting, takes 18 hours to beat. This was posted in 2008. There is even a YouTube video from 2008 which defeats Absolute Virtue. So, from 1UP, and they basically talk about the details of a boss that took literally 18 hours for them to defeat. Now, that was the first party to actually defeat Absolute Virtue. It took 18 hours. Granted, we tried to defeat him several dozens of times and always quit until we had the absolute... We just wanted to sit there and actually grind it out. We spent all day on it, which is the reason why it took over 12 hours. Granted, loads of other people already beat Absolute Virtue. It's just that 18 hours just to defeat this thing was crazy. A lot of people got sick. A lot of people couldn't just go back to this boss. A lot of people said, nope, not doing it. Kind of like the feeling I have with Eureka. So, yeah, with that being said, Absolute Virtue is a complete nightmare for me. Even when he got nerfed, I still didn't want to go back and defeat Absolute Virtue. He was crazy, and I'm not looking forward to a new version of Absolute Virtue. I hope he's nerfed. I just hope he's nerfed. Stories of those times back in Final Fantasy XI, I can tell you a whole bunch of good stories, and they were great. But when talking about Absolute Virtue, talking about the 12 to 16 hour grind fest, it's a little blurry because I believe it's between 12 or 16. I'm thinking it's on the edge of 16 here. It was a mess. It was an absolute mess. I don't want to go back to that thing, but seeing it in 14 only brought back basically the PTSD for this thing. I will go into this, I will make a video on it, and if I do find Absolute Virtue, I will give my thoughts, and I will let you guys know what my experience was. But, in the time being, until patch 4.5 comes out, Absolute Virtue is going to always be the bane of my existence and the horrible nightmare sitting right next to the Tomberry in my brain. Other than that, you guys have a good time playing 14 and all the Final Fantasies out there. This is your boy, Syncweaver, signing out, and thank you so much for watching my